Have you ever felt like school was just the worst because of a bully? Well, let me tell you about a little kitten named Sita. At just 3 months old, she was so excited to start school and learn all about the world. But her excitement didn't last long. A classmate named Ryu decided to make her life miserable. He wouldn't let her sit in the front row. He'd throw pieces of meat at her during lessons. Imagine her horror when she opened her school rucksack to find dead mice mixed in with her books. He even poured ink on her chair, staining her new clothes. Life at school became a nightmare for poor Sita. Whenever she tried to tell the teacher, Raju was a master of escape. He'd suddenly need a drink of water, or have to rush to the toilet, or simply run out of the classroom before he could get into trouble. It felt hopeless. One day, a new teacher, Mr. Raghead, arrived to teach science. He had just come from Abu Dhabi and always wore a traditional Arabian head cover, which is how he got his nickname. He started his first lesson talking about H2O, explaining how it's made of 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. He said oxygen is vital for all life on Earth, and that we get hydrogen from trees at night. Most of the students were confused by this, but Raju saw an opportunity. He started laughing loudly, making fun of the teacher's head covering. "Hey, Mr. Raghead," he shouted, "what's under that rag on your head?" The whole class gasped. The question made the new teacher furious, and Raju was immediately ordered out of the class. This was the last straw. Mr. Raghead knew this problem was bigger than just classroom discipline. He decided to call in the experts. He sent a request all the way to Vancouver, Canada, to 2 very special problem solvers, Tim and Zip. Tim was a brilliant man, and Zip was his partner, an intelligent drone with the ability to understand human behavior. At the same time, young Sita, feeling desperate, also sent an email, pouring her heart out about Ryu's constant bullying. When Tim received both the letter from the teacher and the email from the kitten, he knew they had to act fast. "Zip," he said, "start packing, and grab some warm clothes. We're going to Canada, and it's going to be cold." When they landed in Vancouver, they were greeted by a winter wonderland of cold air and deep snow. They made their way to the school and met Mr. Raghead, who was dressed in his long Arabian robes. He explained the whole situation, describing how Raju wasn't behaving like a student, but more like a hooligan who was terrorizing the class. Before tackling the problem, Tim and Zip decided to explore the city a bit, but the Canadian cold was no joke. To protect himself from the snow and wind, Tim decided he needed a proper winter coat. They popped into a local shop run by a friendly man named Mr. Sandhu, who wore a turban. He sold Tim a wonderful warm overcoat made of sheepskin. As Tim checked the label, he smiled, noticing it was made by a Mr. Hussain all the way from Whitechapel, London. Seeing Tim's cozy new coat, Zip buzzed excitedly, wanting one too. Tim chuckled. "Zip, my friend, if you wear a coat, you won't be able to fly. You'd have to stay in my carrier bag all the time. Do you really want that?" Zip made a little pouty face with his digital display, then flew up into the air. "You're right, Tim.
Let's go sort out this problem for Mr. Raghead. We're running late."
With that, Tim, Zip, Mr. Raghead, and little Sita all went back to the school. They found Raju in the hallway. looking smug. Bet his smirk disappeared when he saw the serious expressions on Tim's and Zip's faces. They didn't shout or get angry. Instead, they had a very firm and serious talk with him. Tim explained the consequences of his actions. He told Raju that if his behavior didn't change, he would face some very unpleasant, not-so-fun consequences. Imagine, Tim said calmly, having to come to school in this freezing Canadian winter with no warm coat, or wearing shoes with no socks. Or maybe, he added, looking Raju straight in the eye, no shoes at all. Zip hovered near Raju's ear, buzzing softly, reinforcing the message. The thought of being out in the snow without proper clothes was terrifying. The harsh warnings finally hit home. The images Tim painted were more powerful than any shouting or detention ever could be. Raju's face changed from arrogance to fear, and then to understanding. He looked at Sita, who was hiding behind Tim's leg, and for the first time, he seemed to feel a little bit of shame. He promised sincerely this time that he would be a good boy in class. He promised to leave Sita alone and to respect his teachers and classmates. Tim and Zip could see the change in his eyes. They had done it again. Another problem solved, not with anger, but with clever words and a little bit of creative consequence. As they prepared to leave Vancouver, they felt happy knowing that school would finally be a safe and fun place for Sita and all the other students. And that's the story of how a bully learned his lesson. All thanks to a kind teacher, a brave little kitten, and the amazing problem-solving duo, Tim and Zip. What do you think is the best way to deal with a bully? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more adventures.